Hello, this is Mark, and I am starting a season replay using Sports Illustrated Baseball, 1971 Detroit Tigers. So before I even start playing the first game, let's look at a little bit of history of the Tigers. So in 1971, they finished second behind Baltimore Orioles, who were amazing between 66 and about 74. They won lots of pennants and World Series and American League East divisions, and they won this year. 71, they won the East. They beat the Oakland Athletics in the playoffs, and then they lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates in the World Series in 1971. This, by the way, 1971 was Billy Martin's first season with the Tigers. He came over from the Minnesota Twins. After the Tigers, I think he went to Texas Rangers, and then, of course, New York Yankees on and off for many years. Here is the Tigers team. Here are their batters. And these were the batters for a lot of years, probably 10 or more years with this core of players. That's how it was back in the day when teams stayed together. Players didn't make very much money, unfortunately, but fans really got to know them and the teams and got comfortable, especially if you liked the players and the team. So this was the team. Brinkman and Rodriguez played almost all the games at shortstop and third base. They came over from Washington Senators in a trade for Denny McLain, I think in 1970. So um, they played years for the Senators and then came over to the Tigers. All the other ones were pretty much Tigers their whole careers. They had four outfielders that they kind of juggled around: Willie Horton, Mickey Stanley, Jim Northrup, and Al Kaline. And the rest of the players were pretty much the regulars at their positions. They didn't have a whole lot of moving around in the infield positions. Players like Tony Taylor, Dalton Jones, Ike Brown were kind of fringe a bit. And here are the pitchers, led by Mickey Lolich, who had an unbelievable year. Completed 29 games. Then no one will ever come close to that again unless baseball changes. He was 25 and 14, 308 strikeouts, 376 innings pitched, but he did not win the Cy Young because this was Vita Blue's year. He was like 24 and 6 or some crazy thing like that, and his ERA was below 2. So he won the Cy Young, and he won the MVP for this year. So that being said, let us move on to my game. My Sports Illustrated Baseball game is right here. And I will start it up. I will say I want to play a season. I want to play the Tiger season. So what it does, it starts playing games right from the beginning. First game was of the year for the American League was Oakland A's over Washington. Second game was this game, Boston beating New York. Third game was Kansas City beating California. those games were used with the actual starting lineups, starting pitchers, and then computer managers making decisions as the game progressed. So we'll say yes, our first game is at home against the Cleveland Indians. You can see there's the managers in 1971 and the record so far 0-0. So here were the starting pitchers of the first game, opening day. Here's the starting lineup for the Cleveland Indians. Here's the starting lineup for the Tigers. They had Northrup at first base. One thing he did do was move people around, lefty-righty kind of things that Billy Martin did with this Tigers team, and he did it in '72 also, where they won the division. There's Sports Illustrated with the defensive rating. So those are the total defensive ratings for the teams and the defensive out. So if the Tigers pitcher rolls an 11 or 12, that's an outstanding defensive out. And batter doesn't get to roll. So let's get started. So leading off is Bavacqua against Mickey Lolich. There's Tiger Stadium. The first colorful line is the pitcher, Mickey Lolich, and he can make some automatic outs by rolling the dice. And the second line is the batter, and that's Kurt Bavacqua against a left-handed pitcher because Sports Illustrated had lefty-righty splits. So I will just go ahead and start rolling the dice. Here's the roll for Mickey Lolich. He rolls the 22, and you can see it's highlighted the 22 spot on the line with a white box. So Mickey Lolich rolls the 22 and strikes out. Bavakwa leading off. He doesn't even get to spin or roll. So Nettles comes up. There's a 20. That's a green box, so that means Nettles gets to roll. So he'll roll another dice. 38 is a strikeout for him. Way over on the right, you can see the white box around the blue. Blue strikeout in this game. Green is hits, red is outs, white is errors, and then yellow is hit by pitch or walk, mostly walk. There's the 21, another automatic strikeout for Mickey Lolich. So he strikes out the side in the first inning. Good start for Mickey in 1971. All right, Hargan's on the mound. You can see Hargan's not such a good pitcher. He doesn't have any outs on his line. He's got a wild pitch, some walks, and even got 2 singles where he gives the batter hits without the batter rolling the dice. And those are pretty good numbers. That looks like 26 and 27, which get rolled fairly frequently. There's a 36. That's nothing from Hargan. McAuliffe rolls a 34 and pops out. Al Kaline, a 15 is not their automatic out, and a 19 is a double. For Al Kaline, 1-out double, Kaline's on second. There's his speed. He's a 1. Sports Illustrated is 0 through 5, 5 being fastest and 0 being slowest. That's for stealing and also for extra bases and manager decision situations, which we may see. There's a 13 from to Northrup. That's a nothing pitch from Hargan. Northrup rolls a 21, grounds out. Kaline holds at second. 2 outs. Willie Horton comes up at 27. He almost got the hit by Hargan. That would have been bad for them. 23 is a flyout. So Horton goes down. Still 0-0. Lolich back on the mound at 13. That is a flyout as Fosse rolls a 22. Remember Brave Fosse got run over by Pete Rose in the All-Star game. Might have been this one. I don't know which year. Might have been last year, 70. Harrelson comes up. The Hawk. A 26 for Lolich is a nothing. A 38 for Harrelson is a flyout. Leon and a 34, which is the one at 34 and 35 come up more than any other rolls in Sports Illustrated Baseball. And lucky for Mickey Lolich, that's an automatic pop out for him. So there we go. Bottom of the second, Rodriguez leading off. Hargan gives Rodriguez a single by rolling a 25. So Rodriguez goes down to first. He's a 2-runner. He must have stole a few bases this year. Freehan comes up, the catcher, 39, and a 24 is a single with a star, means runners advance 2 bases in Sports Illustrated Baseball. So there goes Rodriguez to third. Mickey Stanley comes up. You can see the stats next to his name. Those are the stats for this game, for this replay season. Those are not his stats for the year, of course. 0 batting, 0 homers, 0 ribbies. 33 is a nothing for Stanley. Stanley rolls he got a 1+ in parentheses. See, the dice got covered up by the decision because now we need to make a decision whether we want Freehan to try for third. This would be based on his running ability, and he's a 0 runner. And on the left, you can see the manager decision chart for a 0 runner is mostly out, red, not very many safe. He would have a 30% chance. The top box is 10 and the bottom box is 39. So I will, of course, say no. Freehan will stop at second. Rodriguez scores. Eddie Brinkman comes up. A 22 is a walk. He walks Brinkman. Loads the bases for Mickey Lolich, the pitcher. Well, we got nothing, no decision here. We're not going to suicide squeeze, so we'll let him hit away. There's a 13 from the pitcher and a 15 for Lolich. Usually a good number, but for Mickey, it's a strikeout. Top of the order with bases loaded, 1 out. There's a 39 and a 26 is an F, which is just a weak flyout. So there are 2 outs, and Al Kaline comes up, a 31. And Al Kaline rolls a 16. And what a start to 1971 for Al. He hits a grand slam home run in the bottom of the second inning, giving the Tigers a 5-0 lead. Northrup comes up, and Northrup pops out to end the inning. But that was a big inning, getting 5 runs on the board. Mickey Lolich is feeling better about that. That's a nothing pitch from Lolich and a strikeout for Ted Ford. Ted Eulander comes up, a nothing from Lolich and a double. Eulander rolls a 16 and gets a double, so he's out there on second base. The pitcher, Steve Hargan, The manager of the Cleveland Indians, Alvin Dark, has decided that Steve Hargan will bunt. So there is the bunt table for Steve Hargan, who's a red bunter, which is a bad bunter. In Sports Illustrated, you're either good or bad. A red star is bad and a green star is good. So the bunt roll turns out to be a 25, which turns out to be a ground out. You can see it highlighted on the left side of the screen there. So there's 2 outs. Bavacqua top of the order. There's a wild pitch on a 38. That's going to move Eulander over to third. And Bavacqua's still up to bat, and a 32 is nothing, and a 32 for Bavacqua is a flyout. So it remains 5-0 with Willie Horton leading off. There's 31 from Hargan, and a 37 for Willie Horton is a single. That's Tiger's 6th hit of the game. Here comes Rodriguez. There's the defensive play. That the Indians' number is 12, so Hargan rolls a 12, and that's an outstanding defensive play. He's out. He does not get to roll the dice, and it turns out to be a force out. So Rodriguez is down at second. I'll try to steal. Aurelio Rodriguez is going to try to steal with his 2. There's the steal chart for a 2-runner. Top number is 10, and the bottom number is 39. Red is out, green is safe, so let's roll the dice. It's a 26. You can see it. It's the top green box, so he steals. Rodriguez gets the first steal of the year for the Tigers, who don't usually steal very much. And there is a single by Bill Freehand. Rodriguez is out there on second base with a 68% chance of scoring. Stanley's coming up. We're ahead 5-0. I'll send Aurelio. Let's see what happens. Aurelio gets thrown out. Rolls a 25, and that means that a red box with a star means that he is thrown out, and the runner, I think, moves up to second on the throw. Yes, Bill Freehand's at second base off his single. Stanley comes up, and Stanley flies out. So that's the end of that inning. Still 5-0, top of the 4th. Nettles rolls a 30 and strikes out. There's a 24 from Lolich is a walk, so there's his first walk of the game. Roy Foster's on first base. There's a 19 as a pop-out from Lolich. No Fosse spinning the dice. Harrelson comes up, and there's a 34 for Harrelson. Turns out to be a ground out. That's the end of that inning. Eddie Brinkman leads off with a flyout on a 33, pop-out, short flyout. Lolich comes up, and Lolich gets a single, rolls a 20, and Lolich gets a hit. Dickie Mack comes up, and he strikes out on a 35. Al Kaline rolls a 29 and flies out to end the inning. Here we are, top of the 5th. Eddie Leon leads off with a 13, and he rolls a 39. It's an error on the Tigers. So there's Leon at first base. Ted Ford comes up, and he pops out. Lolich made him pop out with his 35, so Ted Ford does not get to roll the dice. Next batter is Ted Eulander. You can see he got a hit the first time up because he's batting 1,000 for 1971. 24, he walks Eulander, so it's 2 walks. So comes the pitcher. All right, Alvin Dark's going to bunt with his pitcher, Steve Hargan. He did that last time. This time it works. A 23 is a successful sacrifice, as you can see on the left side of the screen. That moves the runners up 2 outs. Bavacqua's got a chance. We walk Bavacqua. The 24 is coming up a lot for Mickey Lowe. He's got a lot of walks. Nettles pops out. Ends the inning and the threat. No runs. Lolich got his 1-hitter, no-hitter going. Jimmy Northrup leads off with a flyout on a 27 roll. Willie Horton with a 35 is usually an out, and it is for Willie with ground out. Aurelio Rodriguez rolls a 25, and he flies out. So 1-2-3 inning for Hargan. Hargan did pretty good except for that second inning. Ray Foster, I'm sorry. He leads off with a single offload. There's their second hit of the game. Ray Fosse comes up, and he rolls a 10. 10 is usually a good number, but for Ray Fosse, it is a ground out force play. So Foster gets forced at second. Fosse gets on first. Harrelson comes up to bat. 30's nothing from Lolich. A 38 is a deep flyout from Harrelson. Fosse holds. Eddie Leon rolls a 25, and a 24 is a single. There's hit number 3. They got something going here, but they got 2 outs, and Ted Ford is up. So let's see if Lolich can pitch out of it. He rolls a nothing pitch, and the 26 for Ted Ford is a ground out. So that ends the inning. Bottom of the 6th, 5-0. There's a nothing pitch from Hargan and a single for Bill Freehand. Mickey Stanley comes up, and Mickey Stanley grounds into double play with 37. So that's 2 outs, nobody on. Eddie Brinkman comes up, 35. There's nothing from Hargan, and 33 for Brinkman is a flyout. So it remains 5-0 after 6 innings. Ted Eulander leads off for the Indians, now known as the Guardians. Ted Eulander is 3 for 3. He's got another hit. He's got 3 of the 4 hits. Steve Hargan is going to be pinch hit for. Alvin Dark has decided he's ahead enough of Steve Hargan. He needs a pinch hitter. They need runs. It's getting late in the game, so they bring in Frank Baker to pinch hit. Now, the way that my computer program picks pinch hitters is they pick whoever has the best chance to get a hit based on the game. So Frank Baker against left-handed pitchers in Sports Illustrated has a better chance of getting hit than anyone else on their bench. Lolich strikes him out. So Frank Baker, all that decision, doesn't even get to roll the dice because the 37 is a strikeout on Mickey Lolich's card. Kurt Bavacqua is nothing, is a ground out into a double play that ends the inning. Their pitcher was removed, so Alvin Dark has to pick a new pitcher, and he picks reliever Phil Hennigan. He's going to pitch against Mickey Lolich. Lolich, a nothing pitch from Hennigan, and Lolich strikes out. Let me show you some of the features of my program. I'll go ahead. We're ahead 5-0. I'll go ahead pinch hit for Dick Mack. I wouldn't do this in real life, but I want to show you how it works. So here's my Tigers bench. Here is their lines against right-handed pitchers. So I could pinch hit Storm Norman Cash, Gates Brown, Tony Taylor, so on and so forth. Let us pinch hit our normal pinch hitter, Gates Brown. He was a pinch hit specialist. He's a left-handed hitter against right-handed. So there's Gates Brown comes up. There's Gates Brown line up there. The roll is a 34 to Gates. Gates rolls a 23, and Gates Brown comes up, pinch hits, and puts one in the seats into right field, most likely. So that is a 6-0 game. There is a hit by pitch, and there is a program glitch that I need to fix. As you can see, my program rolled both dice as a 38 and then also rolled the next one, which looks to be a 32, but did not blank out the 38. So we need to put a pause in the game and show those dice rolls separately. I can fix that easy enough. But that is a hit by pitch. So Kaline's at first base. Northrup comes up. There's a nothing from Hennigan. Northrup rolls a 33 and singles. So there's first and third for the Tigers. Tigers are putting some hits together here. Hennigan throws a nothing pitch to Willie Horton, and Willie Horton rolls a 21 and doubles, brings home Kaline. Northrup holds at third. It's 7-0. There's an 11 from Hennigan, and a 20 is a ground out, runners advance one base. There's 8-0. And that's Alvin Dark has seen enough of Phil Hennigan. He will take Phil Hennigan out of the game and bring in lefty Steve Mingori. And these decisions based on the computer managers relief decisions are based on how many games all the relievers for Cleveland actually pitched in 1971. So if someone pitched 20 games and someone else pitched 10 games, then the 20-game pitcher would be the one more likely to be picked by a factor of 2. Pretty simple. Kaline, Freehand's up, batting 1,000 this young season. 32 from Mingori is nothing, and there's a ground out to end the inning. So the Tigers, 5 runs in the second and 3 runs in the seventh. And we need to look at the defense because, remember, we had Gates Brown pinch hit for Dick McAuliffe. So there's Gates Brown sitting at second base. Of course, we don't want him to play second base, so we will bring in another second baseman. And here's my bench and where they play the positions. We've got a lot of second basemen there. We got Taylor, Jones, Brown, and Gutierrez. I will pick Tony Taylor, who came over from the Phillies. Tony Taylor was a very good player. So Tony's in second base. Here's our new defense. Our defensive rating is now up to 31, but it's still 11 and 12 are the rolls that would make automatic outstanding defense outs. There's a 20 for Lolich, is a nothing. Nettles rolls a 27, grounds out. This is the top of the 8th. The 13th is not an automatic defensive out. A single for Ray Foster. So Ray Foster's at first base. Ray Fosse is coming up. A lot of Rays in or nothing from Lolich, and a 26 for Ray Fosse is a ground out double play. So that ends the 8th inning for the Cleveland guys. Mingorny's still on the mound. Rolls a 33. A 33 for Stanley's a single. Tigers have 13 hits. This is a pretty good first game. There's a walk to Steady Eddie Brinkman. All right, my pitcher's up. You can see there's a plus by his name. That means he's a good bunter. If there's nothing, he was a bad bunter. Pretty simple. I'm going to head and bunt. I'll have a sacrifice bunt. There's the bunt chart for good bunters, so I'll roll the dice. A 36 is down near the bottom. It's not successful. Mickey Lolich pops up the bunt, so there's one out. Here's Tony Taylor comes up, who came in to play second base. 27 to Tony, and Tony, oh my goodness, Tony rolls a 16. Tony Taylor hits a home run, a 3-run homer for the Tigers. 11 to nothing. They've hit 3 home runs. What a game. And Alvin Darkestein enough of Steve Mingorny, so he's going to bring in Ray Lamb to finish this game off. Ray Lamb's 26 is nothing to Kaline. Kaline flies out on a 14. Northrup comes up. There's a nothing to Northrup. And Northrup rolls a 23. He hits a home run. This is a home run party for the Tigers. Willie Horton. There's the number 12 for Cleveland as their defensive outstanding play, so Horton does not get to roll the dice. Top of the 9th, Lolich in there. 0 runs for the Tribe. 27, 23. Harrelson leads off with a single. That's their 6th hit of the game. Lolich rolls a 35 and makes Eddie Leon pop out without rolling the dice. A 23 is nothing from Lolich, and a 37 is a single for Ted Ford. Got 2 runners on, nobody out. Since Lolich did 29 complete games in real 1971, I think Billy Martin probably left him in most of the time. 28 from him, and that's the Gantza game. Eulander rolls a 35. That's a ground out double play. There was 1 out, as you can see on the scoreboard, so that is the end of the game. Tigers win the first game of 1971, 12 to nothing. See, 12 runs, 15 hits, 1 error for the Tigers, 0-7-0 for Cleveland. There's the box score. Foster had 2 hits. Eulander had 2 hits. That's about it. 1 double, no other extra base hits. Here are the Tigers. My goodness, what a game. 15 hits, 2 doubles. 4 home runs, Taylor, Kaline, Northrup, and Gates Brown pinch hitting. That's quite the game. There's the pitching. A lot of pitchers gave up a lot of runs for Cleveland. There's Mickey Lolich, his first complete game of the year, shutout. 7-hit shutout for game 1. So then the game continues to play the other games in order. So Minnesota beat Milwaukee, Baltimore beat Washington, California beat Kansas City Royals. Milwaukee came back, beat Minnesota. Oakland over Chicago. These are all the games between the Tigers' first game and the Tigers' second game. And it's ready to play the Tigers' second game. I'll say no. Okay, complete season play underway. Let's look at the standings. And the Tigers won their first game against Cleveland. Cleveland has hence played another game. And Baltimore won their first game. Oakland A's down there in the East won all 3 of their first 3 games. They won the East pretty easily, or won the West pretty easily. So they are off to a good start also. And with that, I will end my video. Hopefully, this was of some interest, and I will show another game later in the season, maybe midpoint of the year. Signing off.